Global Perspectives Institute hosted by Global Ties Alabama. We're delighted to be able to use this virtual platform to address global topics. In 2020, it was a weekly program. In 2021, it is a bi-monthly program, and we've got some phenomenal topics, and we think many of our topics are not only relevant, but very timely. And so to begin February, we wanted to celebrate. We just celebrated Christmas and the New Year, Hanukkah and other holidays, but we know that the beginning of February is an opportunity to celebrate the Lunar New Year. And as we celebrate that new year, what does it mean? And what are the cultural traditions that are associated with it? Well, one of the great things about the state of Alabama is that we have such a diverse community, and we're able to identify topics, and then we have the professional resources throughout the state who can help to heighten the awareness and educate us more about the topics that we've selected. We're especially delighted today to have Felicia Yonter, who is serving as our moderator. She's the founder and principal of FY Strategies. She happens to be a citizen diplomat, and although I'd like to claim her here at Global Ties, we really benefited because one of our partner organizations in Chicago was really where Felicia started her citizen diplomatic work. And so we have now benefited because of her relocation to the state of Birmingham. Interestingly, this is where she grew up in Birmingham area, and she's back, and she'll tell that story. But we're delighted because of her global and business and professional background of over 20 years. She's a realtor by profession, experiencing managing commercial real estate and economic development initiatives. And she's done this not only in the state of Alabama and Chicago, but also in Houston. So she's really a professional in this area. She's a research writer, and she's just, when you hear her today, you'll know that she's a real strategic professional and knows how to network with stakeholders who can help improve the quality of our communities, not only in the state of Alabama, but nationwide and globally. She's been an entrepreneur for over 10 years. She received her bachelor's degree from DePaul University with a focus on building neighborhood economic health. What a wonderful subject and career goal for her, and the impact that she's had in our community, she's brought it to life. So thank you so much, Felicia, for joining us today as our moderator. We have an exceptional panel. This will be a 1-hour webinar. We will have a Q&A, question and answer period, and we'd love for you to use the chat functionality in order to share your questions with us. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll just turn it over to Felicia. Thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I don't know if I can live up to that introduction. That's fantastic. I appreciate and I'm honored to be here. Just anything for Global Ties. And as Jackie said, World Chicago is what introduced me to citizen diplomacy. And I got to work with Peggy Parfenoff. So if she's here, hello, Peggy, and thank you for changing my life when I decided to move back home to Alabama 3 years ago. And my first call was to Peggy saying, where's the counterpart? Is there anything like World Chicago here? And she introduced me to Jackie, and here we are today. So we get to work together whenever. I was born in Vietnam. I love this topic of Lunar New Year, as a lot of people call it Chinese New Year, but it's more than that, as Jackie and I were talking about earlier, Lunar New Year. And Tet in Vietnam is how it's referred to. And upbringing was, and to be really brief, my upbringing was a little unusual. I wasn't really around a lot of my cultural identity and my Vietnamese relatives until later on in life. So it's been a journey for me. What I do remember about my formative years in celebrating Tet is the tray of togetherness. There's a tray with which is very common at the Asian markets. If you go, the components, compartments of different candied sweets. My favorite's always coconut, anything coconut, shaved strings of coconut and candied ginger, little red envelopes. There's another custom from definitely in Vietnamese, but probably for the lunar celebrations, little red envelopes full of money for luck. Nobody gives me envelopes of money anymore, unfortunately, but very common for the children. And just acknowledging and celebrating the signs, the different signs. I am an ox. I'm considered a golden ox based on the time and the day I was born. So that's supposedly very lucky. And those are my favorite childhood and nostalgic remembrances of Lunar New Year. So today we have 8 panelists and very little time. So I'm going to ask all the panelists to kind of share the same. I want to know more about your organizations and your roles with your organizations and significance of the Asian culture and Lunar New Year, and maybe something in your introduction that kind of tells me a little bit about your nostalgic remembrances. So could we start with Dr. Wang, if you'll introduce yourself, and I understand you're going to run some videos and introduce a couple of others of our group. Uh-oh, and you're muted. You're muted. That's okay.
So I'm Yang Wang. I'm a professor at Alabama A&M University. My expertise is in culture and language, but I'm currently serving as the director for Confucius Institute at Alabama A&M University. And Confucius Institute was established in 2014 at our university. And our main goal is to help people to understand the cultures of Chinese and also do the language teaching. My professionals is an ecologist, and I study environment and wildlife. And through the years, the last 6 years, 7 years of the Confucius Institute, we have done a lot of work with our partners. So I'm very pleased. Thanks Global Thai Alabama to do this, and for Asian Chinese traditions related to the New Year. And I would like, do you want me to introduce other people or let other people introduce themselves?
I think if you would introduce Dr. Messenger and Ms. Parker, but first reminder, everyone please mute if you're going to have any noises in the back out of respect for our speakers. But yes, Dr. Wang, if you'll introduce.
Okay, so we have been, as I mentioned, Confucius Institute was established in 2014, and we have done a lot of work, and our purpose is to let people know about Chinese culture and tradition, given that Alabama is, is a major export to China. Actually, Alabama is number 3 in the auto productions and export. And China is the number 1 import from actually automobile-wise. And also China has a lot of import from the United States. I think in 2019, they import about $3.2 billion from Alabama alone, okay? So it is very important for us to understand the culture and know the language. I know there's a lot of controversy around the Confucius Institute, but Confucius Institute at Alabama University is institute belong to our university. And the university have the full control of the operations. The only thing we do is language and culture. We don't host any research activity. And also the funding most of the funding is coming from our university. The resources mostly is from our university. And we have done a lot of work, and we have provided a lot of opportunities that the students otherwise will not have at our university. Dr. Shi will tell you more, they have done a lot of more work, okay? So I want to introduce 2 people, particularly they have been impacted, actually influenced by our, work. One is my graduate student, Kevin Message. He is a PhD student from a graduate from a university. He also got a PhD degree from China. And so he had a dual PhD degree from both countries. And he is currently is a professor at Nanjing Forest University in China. He is actually, our university offered him a professor to our university, to work at our university, but he rejected. He don't like our university. And he actually take on the position at Nanjing Forest University. So he is at Nanjing Forest University as a professor. I just want to introduce very briefly. And we have little movie for him. Then we have Kitty Waterpark. Miss Kitty Waterpark is actually is a English instructor at our university. He teaches English, and he has been very closely involved with our teaching, language teaching, cultural activities. Not only him, but also she always bring her husband, her son come to our university to participate in our activities. In 2019, actually, she got the opportunity to personally see China and see how people there and see the culture there. So those two people, we have two little movie about them. Can we show them right now or later?
Kezia,
Yes.
Who is going to show the movie?
it's going right now. Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. Is there sound on there?
No, but we can see the titles.
No sound.
Kezia, is there any way to have sound on this?
No sound.
We're sorry about that. We'll adjust for the next one. Sorry, Dr. Messenger. Well, so enjoy the slideshow of images of Dr. Messenger. Do you want to tell us anything about this while it's?
I see myself here on that picture too.
It's a fun little surprise. Yes, some of those videos, well, the initial part, that was about a new species of frog that I discovered a couple years ago, and I published it in 2019. And then it just, yeah, so my background is mainly herpetology, reptiles and amphibians. In China, I teach animal behavior and animal distributions. But my field work is in conservation of reptiles and amphibians mostly. And as a byproduct of simply doing conservation studies, I tend to find new species just by accident. So I had to learn a lot about frogs, or that particular genus, once I accidentally found that individual.
So Kevin is a trained herpetologist. When say herpetologist, basically the scientists study reptiles, amphibians. And China is a very hot spot for biodiversities. So the conservation, biodiversity conservation is an international issue, just like climate issue. It is not just a problem of in the United States. It's a worldwide issue. So if United States do a good job, that's not enough. We have to work with other countries, particularly third world countries. Other countries don't have sufficient knowledge and skills. Kevin is an expert right now in China. A lot of people looking for him about the conservation related. He talked about the issues of the new species, but these we're talking about in biology. We're talking about is conservation, how to protect our environment. It's a Chinese culture, but we in China, we don't have the skill. We don't have, they don't have the skill they don't have the knowledge to do all these works. So Kevin provided a lot of help there. He's the expert. And China's national TV has made two actually programs, videos. Each one is about 15 minutes or 20 minutes to show his work and to broadcast nationally to let people know how important to protect these wildlife species, amphibian leopard species, and to conserve the environment, So it has a major impact. We have a lot of impact. He has a major impact in China.
Thank you. Wonderful. Will you introduce Ms. Parker as well?
Yes, we have a movie, very good movie, Miss Parker, about Miss Parker. She talks about herself. I think let's show that movie. It's a very good movie about her.
Uh-oh.
My parents from Edenton and Milledgeville, Georgia, gave me my first love, home, Atlanta, Georgia, the USA, a little bit city and a little bit country. Country is as country is, rural, small, and slow, with a sweet southern twang, reminding me of my grandmother's sweet potato pie, her collard greens, hot cakes, fried or baked chicken with gravy, along with her nothing but butter pound cake, passed on down to my aunts, skipping me her grand. My city tongue, a bit faster, still southern, still sweet, yet the twang is subtle and its lift, delicate like, genteel. My country tongue, generous, maybe too generous, gifting the shirt right off your back and speaking to everybody. Hello there, how you doing? This was my language, all I ever knew. Traveling is romance. I've since found love throughout North America, crossing into Mexico and Canada, flying and cruising into Jamaica, the Caribbean, Hawaii, which is to America, stamping passports into England, Amsterdam, Italy, the Czech Republic, Germany, France, Ireland, and Greece. English is spoken globally, but heart? Heart is found through learning words and culture from the people of the countries we visited. Asia? Well, Asia is a dream of mine to visit. Its languages, mystical, beautiful, like a painting, picturesque, akin to the beauty of impressionistic paintings. English is approximately 700 years young, but Chinese is 5,000 years old and counting, still so similar to its origin. In 2015, the Confucius Institute came to AAMU, the Hill. What is AAMU? Standing strong today, AAMU is Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University, a former normal school educating African Americans who were denied entrance to other institutions that were all white. Home of the Bulldogs, the spirit of Council Hill. Founder William Hooper Council, a former slave. Enough said? No. Why? The Confucius Institute allowed me the opportunity to have a romance again with language. Like William Hooper Council, who encouraged and led by example, the Confucius Institute at A&M encouraged me to try again. What if slaves, period, and former slaves gave up any opportunity to learn, no matter the age or their circumstance? Where would I be today? Where would we be as a nation? Like William Hooper Council, who exemplifies life no matter what, the Confucius Institute at A&M showed me the will of life to never give up or end, to push forward, whether it's a relationship or another language. What if slaves, period, or former slaves gave up? where would I be today? And I ask you, where would we be as a nation?
Mm. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. You saw me lean in as soon as you started talking about food, Southern food. Dr. Naka, will you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your Lunar New Year experience?
I will talk about China in general. I am a coordinator here at Forestry Program, and the program in China has been going on here for many, many years. I don't know, 2009 or 2010. But since I had to teach in the summer, I didn't have the opportunity to go in China. Then my daughter went with the program in 2013. And the reason I'm mentioning my daughter is because being to China with our RU program, she was able to find a very good job here in the United States with a company that needs somebody who had the experience from China. So I can show you other examples, but this is one of the examples that from the benefits that students have to go in China. So she told me that you are a faculty and you have never been to China. So I kind of feel like, I have to go. And then I went there the 2014, the first time, and I've been there 5 times because the program became more and more forestry program. So, and then by going there, it was a wonderful experience because it made me know better China. Students know each other. We have Chinese students come here. Kevin graduated from there. Now I have a student who actually is not right now there, but he is studying in Nanjing Forest University, but he has to come here because of the COVID. So it's a lot of things going on in China. We had Chinese students coming here at A&M and taking classes, and some of them graduated, some of them are graduate students. And also a lot of activities that goes probably every once a month or every 2 months, organized by the Chinese Confucius Institute. What has fascinated me has been the language, which is, I speak several languages, but all of them are European languages. So I was really fascinated by the Chinese language, how difficult it is for us, but how easy the grammar is and how difficult the writing is. So it's and the way things are put together. The food is fantastic. I miss Chinese food, and one of the reasons I would like there, besides for meeting my friends, it's also the Chinese food. I think the experience, and we go in the summer, so I cannot tell you my experience of New Year in China because I've never been in China during the New Year. But my daughter goes there 4 or 5 times a year, and every time she goes there for the Chinese New Year to participate with the festivities with their colleagues. She went there one time and stayed for 6 months there. So it's I've met her because we kind of went at the same time. So several times I met her, but also the students. I think it's a wonderful experience because it will learn something that it's not Canada. It's very similar to the United States. I've never been to Mexico, but I have an idea how Mexico looks like. But China is probably one of the most diverse places in comparison to our cultures. So we tell them to get out of the South and learn more about other culture, but also appreciate the United States because sometimes they don't know that how things are here unless and go to another country and see what's going on. So I'm trying to keep this cooperation with the Chinese friends in both Nanjing Forest University and the university, Beijing Forest University.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Wanda Grissom Schultes, am I saying that right? Schultes, will you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit? And you're muted, so unmute and tell us a little bit about your Lunar New Year experience. There you are.
Actually, I'm here to represent Learning Quest. Learning Quest has benefited a great deal from Confucius Institute because we have 2 terms per year We are a nonprofit partnered with the public library. And before COVID, most of our classes were held at the public library. When Confucius Institute came to A&M, and I am a former student of A&M, by the way, before COVID came, we met in the library. Now most of our classes are on Zoom. In the beginning, when Confucius Institute first came, there was a membership enrichment event where the Institute came and introduced the Chinese New Year to the group. We have a Facebook page and we have a website. It is at elquest.org. We welcome all adults to join the group. Most of us are retired, but anyone who can come to classes during the day and want to keep their mind active, which is especially good during COVID, we welcome members. There have been several classes taught. I will list some of them. Chinese traditional musical instruments, basic Chinese language, basic Chinese handcrafts, and the geography and tourism of China was the most recent one. I coordinated that class, which is why I'm here, which is why they invited me to come. And I guess just because we have benefited so much from Confucius Institute, they wanted someone to represent and share some of the work that they do. So I'm glad to be here. And if you're interested in Learning Quest, look at elquest.org. We welcome you.
elquest.org. Thank you so
Yes.
much. We're honored to have you. Dr. Davis, will you tell us about yourself and your organization?
Yes, good afternoon, all. My name, as she's mentioned, is Ernest Davis. I'm president of North Alabama Center for Educational Excellence. In short form, that's called NACE, N-A-C-E-E. It was established in 1974 as a nonprofit educational center. So been in business for 46 plus years. What we do, we serve actually 67% of low-income first-generation students in middle and high school in the Madison County and Jackson County area. We too have benefited greatly from actually Dr. Warren, Dr. Hugini, and staff at Alabama A&M University by partner with our Confucius Institute over the last 7 years. We've had students to visit and staff to visit China 3 times. We've been to places like Beijing and the surrounding areas, Nanjing, the surrounding areas, and Shanghai, the surrounding area. We've been very exposed to the culture of China, not only just in the classroom here in the US, but actually in China itself. We spent 2 weeks over there in each trip that we've had, and actually the student come back amazed, and they too actually want to enroll into China University as well. We've been with Confucius Institute for the last 7 years. Staff have enjoyed the instructors from Confucius Institute. We run a year-round program for the spring and fall, and a 6-week summer program, pretty much I can center around the Chinese culture and language and social life, taught by Dr. Wayne Warren's staff. Just trying to think of other things that to add to it. Largely, where we provide students beyond the cultural piece, we are college prep organization, meaning what we do, we prepare students while in middle school and high school for college. We first start, of course, with goals and objectives, go from goals and objectives to actually talk about financial aid, which is financial aid assistant, which most of you may be familiar with, the FAFSA, student loan, so on and so forth. We do quite a bit of academic advising. We do tutoring. We do scholarship search. We do both college visit and college fairs. And the list go on and on. I could talk on and on. I know actually we limit with time, but if you need me to come back and just actually do a summary, I'd be glad to. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And that's what I love about, as I've been reading about all of your organizations, is you really are enriching traditional education with the global perspective. That's so important as our young people are needing to be more competitive. So thank you very much. Dr. Iris Xu, will you introduce yourself, please?
Could you share my PowerPoint? Or I can do that because you blocked me. Because host disabled participant screen sharing. I can't share it with my PowerPoint.
Michelle, you can go ahead and try to share your screen now.
I can, because it's a, okay, can you see the PowerPoint? Hello? Hello? Can you see that?
Oh, we cannot see it right now, Dr. Xu.
Can you see the PowerPoint?
No. No, we cannot see right now. Somebody you share the mute the
Can't
code.
see it.
Okay, could you ask some people to go ahead and I will see what should I do? Yeah. I don't know why.
I think that there's a control from
Okay, just,
who is doing that? Daniel, is that Daniel doing that?
Felicia, we cannot hear you.
that's fine. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Iris, but we cannot hear Felicia.
See? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. And but you can't see my PowerPoint.
No, because the organizer needs to give you permission to
Yes,
share
they
the
don't
screen.
give me permission. You can't, you have to give me permission to do that.
Yeah. Daniel, is that Daniel? Kezia, Daniel? You have to let give in the Zoom, you click on that person and let the person being the co-host to share the screen. Otherwise, you will not, Dr. Xu will not share the screen.
Dr. Xu is already the co-host now. She's the co-host now.
Okay. You can try now. See whether you can.
Felicia, can we go on with Misun Han and then?
Yeah,
we
she
will
can go on first. Yeah. I don't know why.
Felicia, we can't hear you.
You can go ahead, ask Min Su, and I will do that later. Yeah.
I think we're having some technical difficulties. If everyone can hear me, for some reason we cannot hear our moderator. So we're going to go forward with Misun Han, who is the executive director of AKI, and she will tell you about her organization. Misun.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jackie, and thank you everyone who are related to Confucius Institute. And living in Alabama, I really know that how Dr. Su at Troy University, and I also have visited A&M University, so I know you guys have done a marvelous job promoting this Asian culture. And you know, even today, Vietnamese or Chinese or Japanese or Koreans or all, most of Asia would not have survived without Chinese, this rich culture and beyond 5,000 years of really written history and literature, poetry, you name it. You know, we are all indebted with Confucius Institute. Regardless of what, this is celebrating the year of, I'm gonna let you, Sue. Okay, all right. since Sue is ready, however, let me just finish up what we do, because AKIP, I know one of you have asked what does AKIP means. A stands for Alabama, K stands for Korea, and 2E stands for education and economic partnership, AKIP. I often say Korea is an example that I know, and I pursue for our mission is providing multicultural, multilingual education and bridging the differences between all of us, between corporates and institutions, and just in the community. That is our mission, and we reside in Montgomery, Alabama, and please come visit us. And I also work with many of you to try to put some international coalition in Alabama, because all of us, if we can unite, I think we can really help one another, because we all share some common missions and for the common population in Alabama, and we can strengthen one another. And Lunar is, you know, many, many more years, I guess. I cannot thank you enough, because Solar New Year is celebrated in our calendar. So we all know the first day year is the Solar New Year, but we often say, you know, Solar New Year and then Lunar New Year. And every year we may have a different date according to who asked, which day is different than the other. But regardless, another day to celebrate, and Chinese zodiac, we call it. So Chinese everywhere. And I appreciate Chinese Confucius Institute and Chinese people everywhere, because to Westerner or to American, they cannot make us different, whether we are Chinese or Korean or Japanese or Vietnamese. We all look alike. So we really need to stand one another and help each other. And I thank you for Jackie for inviting me and getting to meet our old friends once more. And let's have this kind of gathering again. And I also have told Jackie and other members. So we are international coalition would be another way we can come together and help one another. And thank you for inviting me. And
Thank
Sue?
you. Can you hear me again? Excellent.
Yes.
Kazia, can you play Dr. Shoes, and we'll jump back there. Sorry about the technical, sounds like it was on my part. Dr. Shu, you wanna?
Yeah, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. First of all, I would like to say thank you, how to say Global Thai, Alabama invited me and to share our Confucius Institute at Troy University. My name is Iris, and the director of Confucius Institute, and also the distinguished professor about the second language acquisition. That means teach the language teachers how to teach the language. Okay, that's my background. Yeah. And Confucius Institute at Troy University was established in 2007 and as a CI for the state of the Alabama, extension offices on Troy campus, Montgomery campus, and Dothan campus, and support local schools, community, and the business in Alabama. And the purpose of establishing Confucius Institute and just sharing the culture, teaching Chinese language, and also for the people, the learning the language interest from the community, supporting study abroad, support culture, language, and economic development. Especially, it's very important to cross the culture understanding and the effective relationships, okay, and the exchange between students, professional, adult, and educational leaders from Alabama. That's our main campus. And the Confucius home And I really want to share with you, because of global vision from our chancellor, Troy becomes international university. And we have, that's because of Troy University is world's the home of international the international students. So we have over like 700 students each year from 40 countries represent the Troy University. Troy University has the value for international students. Okay. And you can see we have many volunteers from international students. Okay, they help the local schools, local communities, and the local business, and also the university students. And we have a beautiful campus, and hope you go there. And also, the international university should have an international culture park named as Janice Hawkins Arts Garden. And there's over 200 terracotta warriors from China are located in Troy University main campus. Okay, and also we have a museum, and each year we have thousands people visit Troy and to see these unique cultures on Troy campus. And also we have an international arts center, came from lots of arts from European country, Asian country, and also Arabic country, and the Africa countries. Okay, so, and outreach community and the Confucius Institute provides scope for people all over the world to learn about language and culture, and also became a platform for culture exchange between China and the Alabamians. Okay, as well a bridge, the reinforcing friendship and cooperation between China and Alabama and the rest of the world. And you can see our events and highlights for Chinese New Year celebration, and introduce introduce the terracotta warriors to local people. And also our students dancing performance in Chinese New Year celebration in Montgomery. And also we support local activities, and also serves the community. A lot of people visit our Troy campus. And you can see there's a lot of people join us, local schools visit us. Also, we give a lot of lectures and the event like Chinese tea ceremony, Chinese paints, and also the lectures introduce about Chinese food and also culture. You can see a lot of the seniors to visit our Confucius Institute. Okay, and we have a highlights about summer camp. It has been organized over 10 years, and lots of students came from, I think there's over 40 states to join our summer camp. And it was very successful for students and teachers to learn the language and to teach the language. Okay, so you can see they came from Troy and from all of the states. And the people, lots of people join us, you can see. And we have a strategic partnership and successful partnership with universities in China, running university partnership effectively. So you can see partner cooperation. Our governors meet the leaders from China. And also we help the big project with the Golden Dragon Corp, and it was located in Alabama and opened 500 local job opportunities. The first 2 years, we helped them to translate the documents, and the interpreters interpret the language and the people to people. And this company was the international company and located Alabama. Okay. And we organized China trip for senators and government officers. You can see officials and from here, and also the board of trustees from Troy University to join the partner university. And also we organized a TAP program for training the teachers how to teach English in China. So over 26 visiting scholars to visit our Troy, and about the 16 weeks program, training program. It was very successful. And we finished the second year already because of COVID-19 and the last year's and this year's, we have to cancel the program and hope next year's be back normal and this program will be again. Okay, and you are going to see we also have a one-to-one program to work with Chinese government and to let students to learn 2 years in Troy and 1 year in China, and the last year was in China as well. Okay, and the China trip for senior artists, choir, and also singers, and also dancing program. You are going to see dancing in the People Hall of the People. It's similar as the US Capitol. Okay, we are so proud of that. Yeah, and the triple F for educators, and you know, each year we have a lot of visiting scholars to visit Troy and help local people. Yeah, almost the last one, rewarding visiting scholars. 2 years ago, we celebrate Chinese. Last year and this year we have to cancel it because of COVID-19. Next year, back now, they are going to do that again. And you will be invited by us if possible. Okay, and thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. And a note on everyone's the best. Yeah, I work with a couple of organizations for increasing representation for Asian American, Pacific Islander, and real estate, or in art and culture, and here in Alabama. And we can stop sharing the screen now, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to.
But all the festivals are canceled. We're missing out on. Are we having technical issues again?
Can you see?
If you can hear me, we've got a few minutes for questions, and so please put questions in the chat. And I'm going to combine a couple of mine because it seems like, yeah, the audio is going in and out. It looks like, I'm sorry, everyone. But a question for the panelists. With all of, I mean, everyone's got kind of a focus on increasing Asian culture, education. Have there been any some real? It's my audio. I'm wondering if there have been increased opportunities, intercultural opportunities as a result of your work with the
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm getting a note that it's my audio, so I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yeah, but there
if
is
I'm
scratch. Something
muted.
is wrong with your microphone.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So I'm going to look at the chat
Better
again.
Now we can hear you.
You're better now. You're good now.
Oh, it is better now. Okay.
It's
So
okay.
it was with everybody's work, with everyone's work involved in increasing Asian culture, exposure, education, etc. Can some of the panelists maybe tell us about some intercultural opportunities that have come from this?
There it goes again.
Sorry.
Your audio has some issue.
I'll mute myself. I'll mute myself, but questions for the panel?
It sounds like there's audio feedback, like one of the speakers has got some other apparatus on and it's interfering with the audio.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please send them to the chat. I think what we have seen is definitely mission accomplished. We've heard from our panelists that cultural competencies have increased because of the cultural and social interactions. We're thankful to our educational institutions for providing platforms for these programs. Does anyone have any additional questions? and we apologize. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, there's definitely some problems. So we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. And we will definitely hope to see you next week when we're hosting our Global Perspectives Institute that will focus on women of courage, both in Alabama and our